Hi there, it's the 5th of June, British summertime, it's 10 degrees and it's lashing down. So I thought I'd use some of the time to review some of the kit I've been using over the last few months. First up, the Spatz Glovz. I picked these bad boys up on eBay relatively cheaply a while ago and I've been trying them out, so I thought I'd share my thoughts. First up, they seem pretty well made. They've got this long cuff which apparently keeps your wrists warm, not something I've ever suffered from myself, but they certainly feel comfortable when you put them on. Looking at the back of the glove, they've got a reflective patch across here. They seem to be quite long in the finger, although I'll explain there's probably a reason for that in the sizing. They've got a little touch pad here and a little peepee hole for your finger as well, so you can use it on your touch screens, and similar for your thumb as well, but there's no peephole on that one. They've got a really nice sort of grippy texture to the palm, so they do make holding onto the bars pretty comfortable, pretty easy. There's a slight pad there which fits in that part of your palm. I'm not sure if that's a pressure point or something. It's not something I've ever particularly noticed. To slip them on, they're pretty easy to put on. They've got sort of a soft lining, a bit like a Roubaix fabric, so they feel really comfortable once they're on, and you know, they fit reasonably well. So yeah, they're well made, they look good. The best thing about these, I find, is this little pull-out cover, which if you're riding in the UK through summer you need. These turn them into lobster gloves, so if you're feeling a bit cold, if it's an early morning, flip them on, and these really do make a difference. They do make your hand feel quite a bit warmer. A few times I've been riding and you know, I've had cold fingers, but you put these bad boys on, absolutely no problem. I'm used to wearing lobster gloves throughout the winter, so you know, in terms of using the bike, you know, it doesn't make much difference. And you can always whip them off and fold them back into the flap. I just tend to scrunch them up and stuff them down, and they seem fine. There's a bit of a lump, as you can see there on that profile, but to be honest, when you're riding, you don't really notice. So, you know, on the whole, I've been pretty much impressed with them. The drawbacks, I would say, is what I've noticed is when you put your finger out the peephole, this flappy bit here, if you touch your touchscreen, touches it as well, and it seems to confuse it. So it doesn't perhaps work as well as it should. However, I have found that just using it through the glove itself is just as effective. So whether you actually need a little peepee hole, who knows, maybe it's personal preference. It doesn't make you feel any colder riding in cold conditions. I was worried, you know, it might let air in, might end up with cold hands, but yeah, that's not particularly an issue. In terms of usability, I've used these down to about 5 degrees and they are fine for that, but below that they just don't cut it. But I don't think they're made to. Spatz make a winter version of this glove with a heavier fabric, which is more in mind for colder conditions. So down to about 5 degrees. Probably go a little bit below that if you're giving it hammer and tongs and you're working really hard. You know, they seem to work for me, but also bear in mind that gloves are quite a personal thing as well. Other drawbacks that I've mentioned, the peephole. The other thing for me is there's very little padding in the palm, and if you're on a long ride, you know, it can get a bit, I certainly feel the pressure through the palm, so a bit more padding for me wouldn't go amiss, but they are designed as a raised glove, I think. The positive side is you get really good responsiveness and feedback through the bars, so everything good in that respect. These are a size large. If you look on the website, it says 24 centimetre hand circumference. I've just measured mine comes up at 23, so strictly speaking, you know, I probably do with a medium, but as I got them cheap on eBay, you know, I'm quite happy to make do with this. The mediums might also solve that little issue with the peephole. So on balance, I'd give them, say, about an 8 out of 10. They're certainly comfortable to wear and worthwhile, and they're a good pair of gloves to have in the kit bag for those questionable days. Particularly if it's a bit cool, it's a bit drizzly, you know, that cover does tend to, it does get wet, but it keeps the wind out, so your hands do stay warm. And so really, you know, I've been quite impressed with these, and I use these quite regularly throughout the British summer. So hope that's helpful if you're thinking of buying them. Cheers.